Well, welcome back, everyone, to the TundraCast. It's just me and Rossi today.
Like usual.
And the first month of the NHL season is completed. There's been a lot of surprises so far to start off the year, a lot of disappointments, a lot of memes so far. And we'll touch probably the biggest storylines that we've seen and that we feel like we needed to touch on. So, without further ado, let's start off with our first topic. Alex Ovechkin not really scoring much, which is
Yeah,
weird.
it's weird, and I don't know. Like, I don't have the stats on me. Like right this second, I know everybody watching can see his goals and assists right now through 10 games. But like, is it just the fact that he's passing the puck more? Is he not shooting it as much? Like, what's going on?
Well, first, I think it's safe to say that Washington is not really a good team this year. They're not. I mean, that it's an older team. I mean, fuck, Nick Backstrom just he's basically retired at this point. He had to walk away from health issues for this rest of the year, so he's practically retired at this point. Um, and like I don't know, in the games I've watched, if it just feels like Ovechkin is just he's getting the chances. That one timer, all that shit is still there. And even analytically, right? His expected goals for percentage is at a 51.74. So he's goal share wise, expectedly, he's over 50%. So he is getting those opportunities for scoring chances for 53.38%. I think he's had 8 high danger goals for us. So he is getting the chances. And I do think a part of the reason why he's not scoring is his PDO. His PDO is at 0.952. If you don't know what PDO is, basically if you're under 100, you're unlucky. If you're over 100, you're lucky. That's what it is. Last year, Ovechkin's PDO was exactly 100, 1.000. This year, he's down to a 0.952, which means when he's on the ice, pucks aren't going in, and his goaltenders are also letting in a lot of goals. So that's gonna regress back to the mean.
Yeah,
But I don't know if he's gonna hit 40 or 50 goals this year. It's just like that. Like I said, that team is so old at this point. Their best center is probably Dylan Strome. Not a lot of youth. Um, and that's affecting Obi's play for sure.
yeah, and I mean something that you could look at it just on the basic stats that could be affecting it is Alex Ovechkin shooting percentage wise is 4.7 right now.
That's not lasting. No way.
No. Like there's a lot of players that only have like one, two, maybe three goals right now that are around that that sort of shooting percentage. Somebody that's like that right now is like Matthew Kachuk's at 3.7. Uh, I believe Philippe Forsberg is sitting at 4.4, and like
Yeah.
the the mean and the most common, the average is the word I'm looking for. The average shooting percentage is like 15%.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm obviously everything we say right now is very parabolic. Like, don't worry if your team is in the mud right now or not. I mean, maybe depending on your team and the way they look.
Yeah.
But if you have a scorer on your team who's just not scoring right now, there might,
They'll rebound.
yeah. And if they don't, well then, yeah.
Well then rip. But yeah, like Ovechkin will be fine. Once again, I don't think he hits 50 goals. Like 40 goals in your next 72 games, especially at his age. I know he's still a tank at this point, but that's really hard. But I could see a scenario where he still hits 40. I mean, they play tomorrow, I think, against Florida, so that shoot percentage will definitely come up. That PDO is not going to last forever. Um, yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right,
And
next. Oh, you want to? Okay,
I
you
was
can
just gonna
continue. I'm sorry.
say the second Ovi starts scoring goals, they're gonna keep coming because of how,
He scores in bunches, man.
yeah. Next.
Surprisingly, the Boston Bruins are good. They have started the year 10-1-1. This is after I think we graded their offseason like an F. So, maybe not the best look on us. Uh,
Well, to be fair,
I don't, I don't.
the second best team in that division is Detroit. So
That's true. I mean, like, I don't know how like Pasternak been doing Pasternak things, right? Marchand's still around a point per game. Like, how does Jay Van Riemsdyk like have 8 points in 12 games? Like, how are you this good? Matthew Poitras, I think is how you say it.
I don't know.
7 points in 12 games as a rookie, second round pick in 2022. I don't know where the Bruins find these players, but they just do. Mason Lohrei, a rookie defenseman, 2 points in 3 games. John Beecher, a rookie, looks to be more like a Trent Frederick. Both of them have 3 points in 12 games. I mean, Swayman and Olmark still showing that they're the best goalie tandem in the league.
Yeah, their goalie
Uh,
just zero
Unbelievable.
regression. It's ridiculous.
So like the only guy that I look on the roster and say, okay, he's regressed is probably Hampus Lindholm, who has 2 points in 12 games. And like judging a defenseman by points anyways isn't the best way to evaluate their talent. So yeah, Boston, man, they're just never gonna die. They're just never gonna die. I think I had them at 5th or 6th place in my predictions in the Atlantic. Well, right now they're on pace to do better than last year. That probably doesn't hold up, but they're on pace to do better than last year somehow. Without Bergeron and Krejci and Hall and Foligno and Orlov and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, this is this is just crazy. The fact that like not just Boston, but like I mean, I know that people are gonna say like, "Oh, you should have expected it," but I mean, even Vegas being 11-1-1 is crazy.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, Vegas's roster hasn't really changed that much from last year. The only notable subtraction they had was what Riley Smith. So yeah, I don't get it. Jim Montgomery, man, just what a coach. You know, we all clown Boston on firing Bruce Cassidy. I know he ended up winning the cup, but Montgomery's been a great fit there. He's been doing some good things with Boston.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Do you want to talk about San Jose? Can I just say that I was right when I said San Jose's going to set the record for goals against in a season?
Yeah, I was wrong.
So do you want to? You can clown on them first, and I'll clown on them.
Okay, I mean it's. So you did you ever play that old, like the old Spider-Man PS2 game?
Yes,
You know the missions where they have you deliver pizza.
of course.
You know the theme that plays
Yeah,
when you
no, no,
deliver.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no, yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I would summarize this as. They, they, they're like it's just awful. Like the entirety of the team. Like I thought maybe they would steal some wins. You know they got Blackwood. You know maybe Capo Kakkonen reverts to his reverts to something. But no, nothing's happened. Their best point getter is Tomas Hertl. He's only at 7 points. His
Yeah,
their best goalie Blackwood has an 8.79 save percentage. Like I'm stumbling to find words on how bad
that's
this
still better than
team
the Oilers netminders.
is. It really?
Yeah,
And keep in mind, this team almost beat Colorado game one of the season.
I mean that was due to Blackwood though. Blackwood almost carried San Jose to that win, but there's just like no optimistic outcome. I mean, I guess there is. I mean, you get Macklin Celebrini or Cole Eiserman, but like I think at this point, like William Eklund has played 11 games this season. He has 2 points. I think having him up here is going to do harm.
Yeah, no, it's 100% gonna do harm.
I think you have to send out Thomas Bertolo, who has 2 points in 6 games. He's also a very promising guy. I mean, Philip Zadina, who bet on himself, 2 goals for 11 games. They only have like 4 or 5 good players. Like you mentioned, they have Thomas Hurdle, they have Duclair, they have Matt Benning, my guy. We love Matt Benning here.
Exactly.
Eklund, who should be sent down, and they are missing their captain in Logan Couture. But like, even with Couture, this roster is still really freaking bad. And like I thought 2 years ago, when Arizona and Buffalo were clear cut tanking for Shane Wright, who still didn't go first overall, which is still really funny. But like, I thought those rosters were bad, but holy crap, this team has been awful. Allowing 10 goals in back-to-back games? Like, when's the last time we've seen that? Like in the 80s?
It was the
In
first
the
time
90s?
since '72, I thought.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, I know scoring is up now in today's league, but still, man, 10 back to back?
Yeah.
Like you said, their best goalie has a save percentage of 876. And like, I have no words, honestly.
Yeah, and for anybody sort of, not understanding or not knowing, sorry, the Sharks aren't the worst in any, like, well, besides like win loss ratio, blah blah blah, but like their power play is fine to an extent.
Oh,
It's running at 18%. You
that's
know,
good actually for that
yeah,
team. Holy crap, that's good.
that's good. Their penalty kill, it isn't the worst. It's the third worst at 67%, but there are 2 teams lower than them.
Two other teams.
Minnesota
Ooh.
and Nashville.
Okay.
And their face-off win percentage, they're the third best team in face-off winning. Now, I'm not
What
saying
the
that
hell?
those things are like keys to the game. Well, sometimes those things are key to the games. But it's like when you go to add 2 plus 2 and you somehow get 5, I feel. Because if their
Wow.
power play's good,
Yeah.
and while their penalty kill is terrible, if you look at their like big losses, yeah, a lot of those were like, I think a few of them were power play goals, but it's like most of them just came on 5-on-5, I believe. But let's see, when in their 10-2 loss against Pittsburgh, only
One of
two
those
only
I
two
know
of the goals were scored on the power play.
for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh only scored 2 on the power play.
How many opportunities did they get? It should say somewhere.
I literally just
Whatever.
went.
Whatever. That's fun. But like, how many wins do you think the Sharks get this season? Like less than 20?
By the way, they went 2-for-4.
Okay, that's not bad. 50% in the game actually isn't that bad. But like, how many wins did the Sharks get this year?
I don't know, because yeah, they're horrible right now, and they have not won a game. They've only accrued 1 point. They have less. They have scored less goals as a team than they've allowed, or whatever that stat is that has been floating around lately. But at the same time, in sports, nothing can ever be sure. Otherwise, the cup would have went to Edmonton or Vegas right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in all sports. So yeah, while I could say, hey, they'll only win about 10 games, they could end up winning about 25 or something.
I mean, hockey is a game of bounces, and there's gonna be a game where they get good bounces, and there's gonna be a game where the offense just clicks, and it's gonna happen this Thursday against the Edmonton Oilers.
Is that
You know
next?
what? I can move it up. Yeah, we can just transition into the Oilers. Um, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Um, I honest to God thought this team could win the cup. I honestly believe that. And it's not just a case of a fan being very hopeful about their team. They have the pieces to. They still have one of the best top sixes in the league. Their defense is questionable at times, but I don't think on paper it's even that bad. The thing that's sinking the Oilers the most right now is the goaltending, and Jack Campbell just got placed on waivers. But even Stuart Skinner has not been good this year. The Oilers are out shooting Vancouver Monday night. They're the first 12 or 13 minutes, 19-4. And the score was 2-1 Canucks. Do you know how mentally deflating that is to a team? When you're out shooting the other team by more than 6 times. My math was off there. 19-4. So almost 5 times, sorry. Almost a ratio of 5-1. And you're down by 1 after playing that well. It's killing this team. If the Oilers just have below league average goaltending, not even league average, below league average goaltending, they're probably third in the Pacific right now. But instead, they're 31st place in the league. 2 points ahead of 4 points ahead of the Sharks. And I don't even consider the Sharks an NHL team just based off our conversation right now. They're the worst team in the league. With McDavid and Draisaitl, who's eligible for an extension next July, McDavid, 3 years away, and a supposed cup or bust year, and you're 31st in the league. You're capped out. Your goalies are now Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. You can't fire the coach. It's not Jay Woodcroft's fault. I'm going to have an article later this week on why it's not Jay Woodcroft's fault. It's not Jay Woodcroft's fault. It's on Ken. It's Ken Holland. You didn't get this team a proper netminder. You still haven't gotten this team another top 4 defenseman. They still need depth scoring in the bottom 6, which you've been here for 5 years. That should be improved by now. And he's already fired Tippett in the years past. The mess is on you. So either you clean it up now or you get fired. He doesn't deserve to use his second bullet on another coach, especially when the coach is just trying everything he can to get something out of this team. And I still think maybe not a divisional spot that this team can make the playoffs, because we're 11 games in. There's still 71 games left of the season. There's still a lot of time. The Oilers went 2-11-2 in a span of 15 games in 21-22, and they still made the playoffs. They ended up with 104 points or whatever. So it's still very early on. The thing is, the goaltending, like I said, stinks. Connor McDavid's playing injured. He has 11 points in 10 games, which actually isn't that bad, but it's not Connor McDavid level, not even close. He's been playing with an injury all season. Draisaitl looks like he's lost a step. He's 28 years old. Nugent, Hyman, and Kane are entering their 30s. They're in their 30s right now. They're capped out, once again. Like I said, McLeod hasn't taken a big step up. Lavoie and Holloway are playing 6 minutes a night. The outcome for the season looks bleak. And I know there's been people saying, well, Vegas missed the playoffs in 21-22, and then they won the cup in 22-23. But in this market, in the Canadian market, with the best player in the world, and I'm arguing the second or third best player in the world, in Leon Draisaitl, missing the playoffs is unacceptable. And if this stretch continues for much longer, I don't know where you go from there. And Thursday night, is big. Not just Thursday night. I mean, this entire month is big. But if you lose to San Jose, and I honestly do feel like they're gonna lose to San Jose. If they do end up losing to San Jose, I I think you just sell for the rest of the season at that point, man. There's no coming back from it. 2-9-1. Good luck. Get the win 7 in a row just to get the 500, and you still have to play at a great pace to make the playoffs, around 95, 96 points, and that's not even guaranteed. So yeah, I could go on the tirade. I could start swearing, but I've just accepted the reality of the situation, that they're in big fucking trouble, and no excuse. You have to win. You have to win Thursday. I don't care if the goaltending lets in 5 goals on 20 shots. You have to find a way to beat the Sharks, which is sad on its own. But that's where I'm at right now. I want to know what you think from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it best to sit back, let you get your piece in, and then I would talk about it. For me, it just seems like, from an outside perspective, I don't know what to blame it on, because I don't know, I'll be honest, the entirety of hockey season so far, I haven't been able to keep too close of an eye on. I've been trying to, but I haven't been able to because I've been at work almost every single day, you know. So I've been trying to keep everything on, and all I've been seeing is just Edmonton going down and down and down. And, you know, before, there was always a clear issue. Like, from what I remember, you would rant about, was when they would put McDavid and Draisaitl on a line, and I think they're doing that again, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you this is something. This isn't like a brand new coach in an environment where he's just now trying to learn the system, and he's trying to just throw whatever at the wall, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then try to build a good foundation from there. He knows what you know what works, you know what doesn't work. The Hyman, McDavid, and Draisaitl line has not been doing good. I believe their expected goals percentage is only 50%.
Yeah.
And yeah, that, I mean, it's okay, but it's not good for that. And when you know that your team gets stronger when you separate the two, then you know that that doesn't belong. Again, this there's a clear representation in baseball. This is the Angels. This is Ohtani and Trout together, and the team can't. Well, the team's been, like, the Oilers have been able to get in the playoffs and make okay runs, but, you know, this is different in hockey. In hockey, you can't just throw like millions of dollars and accrue talent and then be like, oh well, that didn't work. You know, in hockey, you got to be meticulous with your planning. You got to plan everything, because down to it, that last dollar is going to count if you're a GM.
Uh-huh.
And there's been wasted money. There was wasted money on Campbell, and people might say, oh, but there was, like, he could rebound and stuff. And yeah, while he could have rebounded, at the same time, you have to think about it like this. You know that your team is going to be in a position, or is right now in a position, where they need to win now, and that's all they can do. And you need to basically look at yourself and say, what it puts us in that range. Jack Campbell wasn't the goalie that should have been the target. They targeted Matthias
No.
Ekholm correctly. You may hate me for saying this, but Zach Hyman wasn't correct. At least I don't feel he was correct.
I can see your argument to that. They need finishers. They're the worst finishing team in the league. The reason why they get goalied so much is because they can't put the puck in the net. Hyman's a great forechecker. He drives the play well, but he literally can't shoot the puck. And And like I know he was an 80-point player last year. He's a good player, but what the Oilers need are shooters beside McDavid and Draisaitl, because those are the two best playmakers in the world. Your
Yeah.
30 goal, 40 goal guy can become a 50 goal guy next to them.
Yeah.
And like you said, Campbell wasn't a move. Camper was available, basically at the exact same contract. You could have went cheaper. You could have went with a guy like Cam Talbot. You could have went with a guy like Ville Husso. You could have went with a guy like you could trade for Dan Vladar.
Yeah, and
anyone would have been better than Jack Campbell.
And you could have, and even then, you could have said, "Screw it, Buffalo doesn't need him anymore. Let's pick him up." And you could have gotten UPL because yeah, it would have costed you, but at the same time, sometimes when you're that close or what's seemingly that close, risks like that are worth it. And I know some people listening to this might be like, "Well, what's your reason to talk? Every time you play Edmonton, you get destroyed." Well, if like that is true, we get destroyed every time we play Edmonton. But I think that there's something to learn in the fact that what the Predators fail at, other teams succeed at. And you saw it before Ekholm went to Edmonton. The Predators used to be able to defend, not super well, but before Ekholm left, they were able to defend like McDavid and Draisaitl okay. And you saw it this season. The first game, the Predators could not get Draisaitl wrapped up, and they got killed. The second game, Draisaitl did not score a point, and Edmonton only managed 2 points or 2 goals that entire game. Yeah. So it shows that while you have this talent, you need to figure out a way to keep them varied, because if it's always just going to be Draisaitl and McDavid coming at you, well, eventually that's going to get red and it's not going to work.
I agree. We'll see what happens. I would like to think that this doesn't continue, but I've been saying this since Game 5 of the season. We'll see what happens. Speaking about another team in the Pacific that's doing very well right now, the Vancouver Canucks. I'll let you lead off with this one because I just went on a huge tire with the Oilers. So I
hate being wrong. Anybody who knows me knows I'm extremely competitive, and I hate being wrong. I hate you, Vancouver. I hate you for making me wrong. I hate you for beating us. Stop being weird. Why does Filip Hronek have 13 assists? Why is Demko Jesus? Why is Artemi Panarin bald?
Why is Artemi Panarin bald? That's
I want answers.
Rick talking, man.
What is this?
Good for them, I guess.
I don't understand.
They finally stopped being mediocre and they realized, wow, we're actually a good team. Let's play like it for once. Like, look at Demko's stats. Which is that's better than extra Shesterkin stats like from a few years ago. Like, how are you this good? And like, honestly, like without Demko, would the Canucks be where they are right now?
No.
Like if they have like someone averaging that, say if they have like not Tristan Jarry, he sucks. Let's just say I'm trying to think of an average goalie. I'm having a hard time thinking about an average goalie. Velmelka. Let's say they have Karel Velmelka in net.
Okay.
I don't think they're 9-2-1. They're probably 4-5-1.
Here, let's go through their games, right? And we'll try to let's be as unbiased as possible and say what we think they would be. I hate the new setup.
Oh yeah, the new NHL.com setup is awful.
Terrible. Okay, so their first game of the season.
Yeah, we can skip the first 2 games. We can skip the first 2 games of the season.
Okay,
The
there's
second game, Demko. Well, the second game, guess what? Demko didn't even play that game. It was to Smith. We had like 40 shots on net, so he would have lost anyways.
okay. Yeah, it was four
Um,
to three. Okay, third game they
mhm.
lost.
To who? Philly?
Yeah, Philly. Then they lost again. Okay, then they won against Florida. This one's pretty even. Florida, or no, wait, they beat Florida. Sorry,
Oh wow.
Florida only had like five more shots than them. I think it was pretty even.
Okay.
They beat Nashville in a game where Vancouver had 24 shots. Nashville had 18. I don't know what the fuck happened that night.
I think Elias Pettersson got a hat trick.
No, that was no. This was the this was the game where Nashville just decided to go to bed halfway through.
Oh, okay.
Then they had the 5-0 win against St. Louis, which they outshot them. So no, the loss to New York, or yeah, in overtime, and then
See, I guess he'd still be 9-2-1. Then I guess
I
they've just been
guess
that good.
yeah.
Fuck. Wow. Oh, I need to put more respect on the Canucks then. But I mean, like, they have a Ves. They're probably gonna have the Vezina winner. I know we're 10 or 11 games in. Right now, Demko's winning the Vezina. Right now, Elias Pettersson probably wins the Hart. Right now, Quinn Hughes probably wins the Norris. Right now, Rick Tocchet probably wins the Jack Adams. Now, I do want to bring this up, and I do kind of want to tie it in with the Oilers. I know it's me coping, but just hang on. I am gonna look at the Canucks' PDO.
I, let me know where the Predators are on that because I want to know too now. I'm curious.
So, one sec. All teams, can natural stat trick please just not crash on me today? I
Give me the
would very much
stats.
appreciate it. It's for why is it 4-0 Tampa 10 minutes into the game? Were they that pissed off about choking a 4-0 lead? Um, Vancouver has the highest PDO by far, and the Oilers are dead last, which is awesome. Awesome to think about. The Preds are mid.
Fuck. Kind of. I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
don't know.
like, but here's the thing. Like, I don't know if the Canucks' PDO regresses back to the mean though, because they literally have a goalie who is probably a top 6, top 5 goalie in the league. And I don't think Demko is gonna slow down anytime soon. I don't think their PDO is gonna regress at all, man. Like, I think their shoot percentage will, but I don't think Demko's run right now is ever gonna stop.
I think that
I just think they're that good.
if Demko stays the way the way he is right now, and if their shooting regresses, they'll just be like, if their shooting regresses back to like average, then you just have a team that's kind of like Nashville, where they just their goalie is why they're in most games, maybe.
Yeah. For reference, the Canucks' PDO is 1.09.
Jesus.
The second closest team is Vegas at 1.04.
Holy shit.
The Oilers' PDO is at 0.95, and the Preds, like I said, they're mid, 1.01.
Yeah. Predators, literally every time I hear about the Predators, it's a different opinion. It's like just stop.
If you want to keep this going, the Canucks obviously had the highest shooting percentage at 13.33. That's not continuing, and their save percentage is tied for first.
With who?
You're not gonna believe this when I say it. Montreal.
What?
Montreal, man,
Jake
has
Allen.
been good.
Jake Allen's fucking.
Well, not. I don't think Jake Allen's doing well right now, considering they're down 4-0 to Tampa
No, it's
in
okay.
the first period. Why is Kucherov bald?
Wait, is Kucherov bald now?
Oh, he's balding.
It's probably just from wearing a helmet all the time.
All right, but anyways, Vancouver is good. We're getting way off topic, but they're good.
I like it.
and you can vent about Nashville here.
Okay. Um, Mine is just Nashville is frustrating. I didn't want to have it be like, oh, Shea vents about his team, and then, well, why doesn't he vent about it? Like, I want to make it so that we're both somber. And first of all, I'd like to admit that I am wrong. I was wrong about the Ryan O'Reilly signing so far,
Yeah, he's been good.
and I will admit that wholeheartedly. I've every single thing I see, I read, whatever about Nashville is different. It's different opinions, different topics, different blah 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 whatever. It's frustrating for me because on one game the issues will be so clear, concise, and poignant. Like the game against Tampa, what was it? It was lack of power play success, taking too many penalties, and not being aggressive at the start of the game. But then all of a sudden, bam, flips on your head. We could play against Edmonton and get crushed. And then once again, we play Vancouver and Pedersen scores a hat trick. And it's weird because, as I said when we were talking about Edmonton, you know, for Burnett, this is a new team. He's trying to figure out what works. You look at the advanced analytics, one of the best offensive forward lines in the whole league is Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Parsonen. And for some reason, he's not been putting them together. And normally I could accept that if results were on the board, like if we were winning, but we're not. Parsonen hasn't been off to a good start. He's not been placed on a line that helps him a lot. And it's just weird to see that it's like that. It feels like he's playing to our strengths to the point where where he figures out what's our strengths, and then he takes it away. And it's been very frustrating to see that after all these years of Nashville being terrible on the power play and just everything is we've been better on the power play this year so far compared to the years past, which isn't saying much. But now our penalty kill is awful. Yeah, I get it. It's still early, but Saros has been human. And they're just signs that are more foreboding. And and I don't feel like it's fair to a lot of the young guys on the roster. Right now when Foodie, Tomasino, and Fujimo are all fighting for a roster spot right now, you could say, and he's just sticking on whatever line and not even playing to their strengths. So it's just more frustrating that now that it seems like some of our issues are being like recognized. Now there's new issues already.
The thing with Nashville is, you know, I think Burnett's done a good, solid job so far. I mean, I would like to see the kids get more of a role. I don't think Joachim Kamel is up with the team, right? He's in Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah.
I think Kamel. I think Kamel deserves a shot. I don't know where this idea is coming from, but I give him a look with Forsberg, and Kamel does give me a lot of Forsberg vibes. Um, I've been surprised with the play of Ryan O'Reilly, like you said. I feel like I don't know if I'm tripping, but I feel like Gus Nyquist hasn't really done a lot for you guys.
Uh,
He's just kind of been there.
he's got 5 points. He's been in that situation, like I said, with a lot of the younger guys, where Brunette's
Yeah,
figured out what line works with him, and then
yeah,
that line is just gone and it doesn't come back. And that's what I mean is it's been frustrating because there
yeah.
was like two or three lines that here's one of the lines. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, a line that also worked out really well, and that one's not really being looked at either. And you know, Forsberg, as of right now, he's got 12 points. He's only got 2 goals.
And but like we mentioned with Ovechkin, that's not gonna last. That street percentage is not gonna last.
Yeah, it's not
That
gonna.
will go back up.
It will go back up, but if you want to give it the best chance of going back up, is you got to put him with people that you know works. If things are clicking with O'Reilly and Parsonen, then keep them together. You know, there's I know you don't want to keep everything stagnant, like I've said before, just in this episode. You don't want to keep it stagnant, but at the same time, when you're trying to grow these players and you're trying to figure things out for your first year, for your first season, and you're just trying to figure out what's going forward, like this team should be doing, sometimes you need to keep a line together for more than 2 shifts.
Um, no, that's completely fair. But I feel like, since it's 10 games in, I don't mind a coach that's flipping the lines a lot, especially since like Nashville hasn't even been that bad to start the year. If you guys were struggling, or if you guys were doing like well, like very very well, and he kept switching lines, and I can see a problem, but I don't have a big issue with that. But like you said, especially when you want to get Forsberg going, and you found a line that might get him going, then he switches away from that. Yeah, I can see the problem with that. Yusuf like there's other guys to look at too. Yusuf Parson has 3 points in 11 games. I mean, no one. I mean, first of all, no one expected Yusuf Parson to even be an NHLer. Like what? He's a 7th round pick in like 2019. Like the fact that he's already played 56 games in the league is impressive on its own. But I feel like they might have had bigger expectations for him coming into the year. Maybe be like a 30-point guy. I think Luke and Evangelista has been incredible to start the year. I feel like he's my dark horse right now to maybe win the Calder. I know Nick absolutely loves him from his time with the London Knights. But what I've seen this national team, I still think it's gonna be a mini retool and like a mini rebuild. You got the youth up. Veterans. It's gonna have veterans around like a Gus Nyquist. He's not producing, like a O'Reilly, who's been very very good, like you said. I would like to see them get a bit younger on the back end though. Like McDonough's 34, Yossi's 33, which is wild. I mean, Roman Yossi's getting up there in age. Barry's 32. Carey's almost 27. Like it's not a young decor. I feel like you do need some younger pieces there on the back end. I know you drafted Tanner Molendyke in the first round last year, but I would like to see Nashville at the deadline probably selling, trade for younger prospects, younger defensive prospects. That's what I would do if I were you guys.
Yeah,
and obviously goaltending, you're fine. You have Saros and you have Askarov.
goaltending's fine like usual.
Oh yeah, the one thing you guys don't have to worry about. You went from Chris Mason to Pecorine to UC Saros to Yaroslav Askarov. You're fine.
Well, who was before Mason? It was Vokun.
I have no idea who's before Chris. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're fine.
But no, it like for me, it's just you want to see this team get going, and you want to show that these young guys that you got on the roster are more than what people are seeing right now. And it feels like, yeah, he's sort of trying to get things used to it, but at the same time, this isn't like a Western Conference where if you lose like 5 games in a span of like 10, that you're done, right? This isn't that type of Western Conference anymore. Like, and yeah, this could just be me being hopeful, but at the same time, things like this happen all the time. Just know that at the end of the day, if you have a chance of making the playoffs, go for it, because who knows what the hell happens there. Not saying that this team is a playoff team or close to it right now. I don't think they are. I think if anything, they'll finish close to outside of it, because Saros is Saros, but with the amount of weak starts that are currently going on in the West right now, like Minnesota, like Calgary, like Edmonton, you got to take advantage of that, and
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like the team is.
Speaking about Minnesota, Patrick Maroon has 8 points this season. He would lead the Flames, the Sharks, the Blackhawks, and the Capitals in points.
What the
I miss
fuck?
Maroon. I miss Maroon so much. Anyways, let's go on to Vegas. Maybe not surprising that they're still doing well. Probably still the favorites for the cup, but I would like to argue the LA Kings, but that's another topic for another day. Why is this team good? I hate them. Like, why are they still good?
They
Like, can they
sold
just die?
they sold their soul to Satan.
Uh, Bruce Cassidy, hell of a coach. I thought Aiden Hill was gonna fall off. Like, he just it was so obvious that Aiden Hill would fall off, and he just hasn't. Like, this team is so lucky. They're so lucky. It's not even fair. Like 0.93 save percentage, 1.81 goals against average. Get the fuck out of here. And meanwhile, we got two bums in net. Can't even make a save. But Aiden Hill, a guy who was a glorified backup all his life, putting up these numbers.
You know what's
Amazing.
funny?
What's funny?
I bet you somewhere out there there's a Vegas Golden Knights fan whining because they have Aiden Hill and not Jonathan Quick.
Oh, probably.
Like
Quick's a 3-time cup champ.
he's a three-time cup champ. He's got a better save percentage. He's doing better. Why don't we have him?
There's definitely someone out there like that. I mean,
if you're like that, leave a comment.
This is the this fan base deserves nothing good, man. They've been here for like what 6 years now. This is their 7th season. That's crazy to think about that Vegas is in their 7th season, by the way. But man, why are you good? I mean, at least Barbashev has been mid. He has 5 points in 13 games. You gave him a 5x5, so good contract there. But man, they're a good team. They're probably gonna go back to back. Like, I don't know, like, who in the East could stop them realistically? Like, honestly, who could stop them in the East?
If anybody, I think New Jersey or Carolina.
I don't know about Carolina now. They can't even score, and they have goalie issues again.
That is true.
Like, I don't know. And Vegas burned every single goalie last year. They burned the hot Bobrovsky. They burned Ottinger. They killed Hellebuck. And they absolutely tortured Stuart Skinner. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, I feel like the one team that could stop Vegas is the LA Kings. Both these teams I hate to death. And the reason why I do think the LA Kings could stop Vegas is just their defensive play. They play strict defensively, and even though I clown on the PLD move, dude, it's worked out. They're getting contributions from all 4 lines right now. Trevor Lewis has 6 points to start the year or something like that. They got the goalie that they need. All they needed was a goalie that can stop low danger opportunities, because the Kings suppress high danger and medium danger chances all the time. They just need a goalie that can stop the low danger chances. Quick couldn't do that. Copley couldn't do that. Pedersen couldn't do that. Korpisalo couldn't do it. Talbot has. And if he can keep doing that, dude, I think LA is a team that could beat Vegas. If LA beats Vegas, I think LA is your cup winners. I think it's one of those two. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, I honestly agree. And before I started before we started the podcast, I asked my sister if there was anything she wanted to, if anything she wanted us to talk about. She talked about how before the season it looked like it was going to be a Talbot Copley tandem, and now it's not. And well, the short of that story is the fact that Talbot's been so good it hasn't needed Copley.
And there he will regress. He won't keep up this amazing pace all year. But dude, like I think Talbot ends up at a 9-10. That's still good for the Kings. That's all they need.
Yeah.
That's all they need. And I'm honestly, even though I hate the Kings, I'm happy for him. I want him to do well. I really miss him. And if there was a team that would, if if they come down to Vegas and LA, even if facing LA 2 years in a row, I would probably root for LA in that series. Just because I don't think anyone likes Vegas. I don't think anyone wants to see Vegas Cup again.
No.
And for our final topic, we can laugh a little bit now because it's kind of been depressing all the way through. The Sens.
Yo. How many times do I have to
First,
redo this script?
it's funny to note that if you gamble, that's a 41 game suspension. But if you cover up a sexual assault case, you get first overall pick. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there's a second one now.
Yeah, now there's a second one, which is
Quickly
disgusting.
gonna get buried.
Yeah. Do you want to touch on Shane Pinto first? Do you want to touch on Pierre Dorian?
I don't
in
know.
the Dadanov situation.
Because, okay, here's the thing. About Shane Pinto, there are two takes on this. There's the one where it's like, why were you gambling, you dumbass? You play professional sports. If you're gonna gamble through a thing to where you can't be found. The other side's like, why are you promoting gambling but then condoning your players that gamble?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, here's the thing. You see, when you have players that gamble, even when it's gambling on other sports, when it's gambling on shit like that, that coming out or even being announced is very dangerous because it sets a precedent that shit could be rigged. I mean, this all stems back way back in the day, like even before boxing rigging. Like this is baseball is like mostly known. There was a whole movie about it, that talks about the 1919 Chicago White Sox that threw a World Series. You can't have a player, I mean, even though, like, not betting on the team, not even betting on the sport, blah, 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 even if you put 5 barriers between the player and the bet, you cannot have that.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's so many ways to gamble now through sports and there's all of this and all that. But just remember that you're playing these games and you're playing and but just remember that, you know, this is a messy field and if you want to get into it, be prepared for when that hammer comes down because it's not going to be lenient because these sports organizations cannot have this.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, and it's funny in itself too because Pinto wasn't even signed at the time of his suspension, anyways. So like the Sens didn't even have the cap space to sign Pinto. So what they did was, I think what they is Pinto even signed? Did they even sign him yet? Like even after the suspension was announced, or is he just still unsigned? Is he just?
Let me check.
I'm so confused on what they did. Um, because like I know Pinto was unsigned heading into the season. I know on the day he was suspended, he wasn't signed. But no, okay, so I just checked Cat Friendly. He's not signed yet. So, like even when he does come back, where's the cap space to bring him in? What move are you doing? Because like this is still a very good player that you need to get down. You got to get under contract. He had 35 points last year, 20 goals. Or are you just going to give him 1 year league min contract and is Pinto just accepted saying, I need to play?
I don't know.
I don't know. And the other thing that I'm laughing at Otto about, Pierre Dorian, in the sense, well, I guess not Pierre Dorian anymore because he got fired. Losing a first round pick for the Dadanov shit, where they didn't give Vegas his no trade clause. And once again, obviously, the league thinks that not giving a no trade clause is worse than covering up a sexual assault, apparently. The Sens lose their first round pick for that. And the Hawks got fined $2 million. Doesn't even affect their hockey ops whatsoever. And the Hawks are one of the biggest franchises in the league. So that $2 million didn't even do anything financially to them, realistically. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, no. And I don't know why, but anytime I think about this exact situation of Dorian not giving them like his no trade clause, right? I always think about it, and like back in the I don't remember how many years ago is this, when the Browns tried to trade somebody and they forgot to send in the trade before the deadline. So the commissioner was just like, "Bro, we can't do this." And they were like, "Shit, damn it." Like I could imagine Dorian just like sending all the trade details and then just like going to bed, waking up the next morning, be like, "Holy shit, what did I forget? I went to bed with a pain in my stomach. I've now woken up." And then you read all the tabloids and you're like, "Uh-oh."
Oh shit,
and it was just Dorian just like screaming.
Do you think Dorian got fired because of the Dadoff incident, or do you think it was like the final nail in the coffin? Like all of his bad moves come in, and then
in my eyes, and again, this was all supposed to be talked about. Well, aside from the firing, and still is going to be talked about in the Senators video that I've been working on. That they
whenever they make the fucking playoffs.
Well, now it's just whenever they stop fucking themselves over, so I can actually write shit now. But for me, when it comes to Dorian, it's hard to tell where, like, he would start and Melnick would finish in trades and signings and moves.
Yeah.
And then once Melnick passed away, Dorian, he started kind of okay, and then it kind of started going lower and lower, and I feel like nothing that he was doing at the moment was grounds for firing until that came out, and then they were just like, "Okay, bye."
Okay, see ya, buddy. Pack your shit.
They were like, "All right, we can't do this."
I mean, there is a new owner there. There is a new Steve Stales is now the president of hockey ops and the GM. It's like I don't know if Dorian was even safe to begin with. So like when the news came out, they're like, "Okay, you're gone." Like I don't know.
Yeah.
In all honesty, and like I don't even think Dorian has been that bad of a GM. I mean, the Brinkett stuff was a mess, no question about it. But like, he got Tarasenko in here on a 1-year deal. That's a somewhat decent replacement. It's not Alex Brinkett, obviously, but I mean, Tarasenko is what point per game right now. I think 10 points in 10 games for them.
Let me check.
You can, and like Kubalik is there. I don't know how Kubalik's been doing, but he's still a serviceable NHLer. And like on paper, it isn't a bad team. You still got Drake Bafferson. You got Giroux. You got Josh Norris. You got Kachuk. You got Stutzel. You got Shabbat. You got Chikrin. You got Sanderson. You got Zub. Like, I've been saying this for years. Like, the only problem Ottawa has is in net. We all know the corporate style contract's awful. When that got signed on free agency, I was laughing because it's so bad. And Forsberg is a good backup. He's not a starter. They just need a goalie, and they need to fire DJ Smith. If they can do those two things, the Senators will be fine. They will be a playoff team. But they have to fire DJ Smith. He's not a good coach. As Rossi's dead.
No, I'm talking. What? I'm waiting. I'm not gonna just talk it over you. What the fuck?
Oh no, because I was silent for like 5 seconds. It's like, oh, where the hell did you go?
Oh no,
But yeah. But yeah, DJ Smith's a shit coach. They gotta fire him.
Yes.
And that's it. That's basically our main topics for the first month of the year.
Yeah, like that's it. I mean, we want to get more consistent. Just all of us have been pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a mock draft video sometime in the next month. I like these monthly updates. I like this actually. We haven't
Yeah,
done this before, so it's a good way to keep up with the current times, and hopefully within a month, Nashville is better. Hopefully Edmonton is not shit. Um, and we'll see where it goes from here.
yeah, we'll try to get more
Oh,
consistent.
I'll probably make some like miniature videos over the next week or so. I'll decide on what to do. But yeah, let us know, guys, what your thoughts are on your favorite team's NHL season to start off the year. What your opinion is on anything we talked about. What you want us to cover, maybe within a month or so. Let us know. Give us feedback. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I think that's the first time we ever said that in our videos. So make sure you
No,
do that.
usually I say a variation of it,
Oh,
but I
okay.
also add in the if you didn't like it, dislike it.
Oh yeah, because still engagement still helps us. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time, I guess. Any final words? Any parting words from you?
No, San Jose is bad.
San Jose is bad. Nashville is mid. Edmonton is embarrassing. All right. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next time.